For the viewers who are listening, who are you?
Oh God, I'm still figuring that out. My name is Lennon. Somewhere along the line, I decided to start making music and call myself Kid Bloom. And I'm an ultra moody, emotional person. That's who I am.
So with that ultra moody person, I'm curious to know, with that emotion, how does it translate into music for you?
It kind of, I think it makes everything more dramatic.
Yeah.
In a weird way. But I think ultimately growing up and just kind of coming into myself as a personality, I think I've always noticed that I'm very sensitive to a lot of things. Like, sensitive in the sense of just an emotional, sensitive person, I think. And I think that translates into my music more now than it ever has, because I think I'm turning towards that a little bit more instead of trying to be cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With air quotes, cool. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Okay. And so, you know, with that in mind, you definitely did translate it into a brand new album, which you haven't produced since 2017. Can we talk a little bit about Highway?
Please, absolutely.
All right. I had the chance to listen to it on the hour-long drive here.
No.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I've been driving here for about an hour and 10-ish minutes.
Oh my God, thank you very much for coming.
No problem. I love this album.
Thank you.
Gosh, I know in terms of PR, they mention it as like a neon production kind of vibe.
Eh?
Like a neon lights kind of vibe.
Oh, I love that.
And and ever since I heard that term, I was like, damn, it does kind of feel like that.
That makes me happy.
Yeah.
I've never really thought of it like that.
Yeah.
Neon.
Like neon lights. You think in terms of like just how
The
moody,
feeling.
It's a moody glow.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that's so special.
And ever since I heard that line, I was like, damn, all right. So with that being, I hate saying that, with that being said, I feel like that's my catchphrase for the moment for today.
I say that all the time.
So I'm curious in terms of like, what were your thoughts going into writing this album?
There were none.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and I mean that. I decided to not. I decided to just go. It's kind of how I'm doing everything right now. I'm not thinking about what it has to be or how it needs to connect to each other. Because if you think about it, there's some moments on that album that actually aren't that cohesive.
Yeah.
Like, Have You Seen Her? And like, Yellow Line. There's some outliers in there, I think.
Yeah.
But somehow, I think the approach that I took, not really wanting to tie them down in any way or raft them together in any way, made it, in a weird way, more cohesive. So, to answer your question, I think with this album, I quite simply just wanted to make something come out of those speakers that made me smile. And I think I did that in my room at the time. But the special thing is now is that I feel like it's resonating with other people. And I think that, there's no feeling to describe that, you know?
Yeah. Keep up. The one thing I thought was so cool was the different directions that you put into it. Going from like this little higher piece, then dropping down to a slower pace, then into like a weird middle trace into it. I'm curious.
I love that you noticed that.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. And I think that's hard to do as a musician, like for me especially. I'm not saying in general, like it's hard to differentiate yourself in many different iterations. Sorry, continue your question. So.
Well, it was my question in terms of translating from audio into live. This is your 4th show. How does it feel when performing that song?
All of them feel remarkably different.
Yeah.
Like you know what's cool? The more and more that we've been on this tour, I realized I made these songs to be played live. They lived in my head live.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They lived like when I was producing them, when it was happening, I was just like, oh man, like I gotta make this sound like it would be fun to listen to live. Or maybe that's even pretentious to say, but I think while I was making it, I kind of in the back of my mind wanted to make something that would translate over live in a special way.
Well, that's good to hear, because I was kind of curious in terms of, well, and then I'll find out later on today when I hear that song.
You gotta be honest.
Yeah, I will be honest. And
We're talking about Keep Up, right?
Yeah, we're still talking about Keep Up.
Keep Up, sadly. Well, not excuse me. Sadly, is the intro of the set. So like, I'm letting you in on a little secret.
Okay, all right.
The instrumental like comes in, gets you in the mood, and then the band comes out and sits, and then it drops into Like I Never Left, like right away. So it's kind of cool. We do like a little glaze over of that song.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Very hard to sing live too.
All right, that was what I was kind of curious about too.
Impossible to sing live. That shit is like falsetto all the way through, I think.
I think so too, yeah.
And as you can hear in my voice, 15 shows in, my falsetto is gone. But yeah, that one is, trust me, that one is like, there's no way to pull that one off. That one is hard. To sing, to do in the way that it is recorded, I don't know if I'll be singing that one live. Ever. Okay. That one is tough.
That's why that was like the first song that popped into my head. I was going, all right, how is he going to do this one live? So I'm glad I know this.
It's kind of, you'll see. It's in there, but it's in there, but cheating.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay, that's fine. It's all right to cheat.
Really?
Like I said, you're on this tour. This is your first headlining tour.
Yes, ma'am.
And you toured with the Neighborhood earlier. With the comparison of being the opener as opposed to now being the headliner, how does it feel in terms of that transition?
Better.
Better?
In a weird way. It's always like a pleasure and such an honor to open for these idols of mine that I'm so lucky to call my friends. But when you're in, you know, the middle of nowhere in Omaha or whatever the hell, and you have all these people show up, right?
Yeah.
Just feels like something's working, and it makes me feel, makes the little kid inside of me really proud, you know? Because I think my dad always tells me to like live to perform to your younger self, to perform to that kid that had the dream in the first place, right?
Yeah.
And it is a mantra that I say to myself every fucking time, and every time it works. Even if the show's bad, the show is bad in my head when I know that I didn't perform it for myself. If I come off that stage and I'm like, I didn't give my younger Lennon what he wanted, then you know that's kind of like a dead giveaway. It doesn't matter really if it's like sounding perfect, whatever. It's like you have to perform for the universe. And even in these small rooms, I've just been feeling that. So it feels like something's working.
Yeah. Now the question is are you a harsher critic as your younger self?
I wouldn't know. I think I'm a way harsher critic now.
Okay.
I think that's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Is that you have to play, you're exercising that, you're playing to your love. You're playing to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to explain, but it's like a way to bypass the thinking, the what do they think? Do I sound good? Am I better than anyone else? No. You just play for that thing that got you into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like a fucked up way of jacking yourself off, but not really. Do you know what I mean?
I get that, actually.
Like,
yeah,
I don't mean to even say it like that's so morbid, because it's not that, but it's like a way of looking really deep inside and like, in my opinion, it cuts out everything else. The second that goes away from me, I'm gonna stop touring.
Yeah.
Because that's it, you know? Like, you have to, my dad just says, play for little Lenny. So I don't know how to explain that, but it works.
I like the line, yeah.
Right? Hit me with a hot seat.
All right. Let's start with this one. This will be easy. So what is your spirit animal?
Oh, good question. My little dog, Hudson.
Yeah, what kind of dog is your Hudson?
He's a Maltese poodle, and he just, I don't know where he came from, but I he just crawled right into my heart. I love very few people as much as I love this dog.
Yeah.
And to me, he is like, I don't know, it sounds so cheesy and ridiculous, but I feel like I've known this dog for my whole life. And Will.
Yeah.
Even right now, I feel like he's with me. It's really weird. It's really weird.
Well, dogs have that kind of connection to you.
Yeah, and I've never really had that. I've always wanted one growing up. Hit me.
All right, the first one. Has a stranger ever changed your life?
Yes, many times.
Ooh,
weirdly
all right.
enough.
Anyone that sparks your mind?
Yes, I can tell you right now.
All right.
I was sitting on the beach surfing, and I was having a cigarette.
Okay.
And this man walks by, and he looks at me and he goes, I used to smoke cigarettes. I didn't ask to talk to this guy. And he goes, you know, every once in a while in life, a window opens. And he said, it's your decision to go through that window or not. And then he goes, life doesn't change when you make that decision. And then he goes, have a good day. I'll see you later. And walked away. I've never forgotten it. Ever. It's like, I've never forgotten it. It's like, I even told my dad, I was like, something about that felt so creepy, like a sign. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that guy kind of changed my life because.
Moment.
Yeah, and he made me just look inside myself. And that I found very, very powerful. Because for someone to just walk by and say something like that to you, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like one of these conversation cards. Just like beckoned my attention.
Gosh. So the next question is,
Yes.
what title would you give this chapter of your life?
That is a fucked up question.
It is. That's what I told you. These questions, they hit you weird.
You know what? I'll throw it back to what I was just talking about. I called the chapter of my life The Window. I would call this chapter of my life The Window. A lot of them are opening, and I'm sitting here, you know, whether it's windows to personality, to career, to family, to getting older is a very, I'm gonna be honest with you too, I'm also like super emotional talking to you right now. Like somehow this interview has just, you've done a great job of like,
Oh, you didn't have to.
no, seriously, it's really nice to just talk about stuff that actually matters.
Yeah.
The window, because I'm closing some, I'm walking through some,
Yeah.
I've broken very many,
Have you jumped through a few of them?
I've cut myself on them,
Yeah.
I've cut my hand on them, yeah, you get the metaphor.
Yeah.
And I think there's just something to that because I'm stepping into who I am as a person more and more than I ever have in my life. And I think all people have to learn, all people have to, I mean, look at fucking Kanye. This guy's like fucking 50 years old and is a fucking 13-year-old. Like, you know what I mean?
That's a Gemini for you.
There you go. And like, I'm a Virgo, so I'm very over the top and can be very passionate about things. And my passion can sometimes be read as not passion and more as like, who knows, anger or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think just the fact that I'm like stepping, dude, it took so long to do that, right? You think it's easy being yourself?
No.
It's not easy being yourself. It takes a lot of, I mean, in my opinion, there's a lot of, exploration and discipline that comes with being yourself.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the window theme works for this chapter of my life, because I'm stepping into it, I'm learning, I'm unlearning all at once.
Yeah. Here, we'll do one fun one and then we'll jump into this. I
Yes,
think this
yeah.
will be fun.
That's it.
All right, so the question is, the most challenging song to perform a striptease to?
La Bamba.
Ooh.
La 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 Bamba.
I didn't expect that.
Right? Isn't that one weird?
That one is weird. I've
Or
heard
maybe like Goodbye Yellow Brick Road by Elton John.
That's a good one too.
Or like Tiny Dancer.
I love that. All right. That all said and done,
With
towards-
that being said,
Yes. We're here towards the end, and big thing is, this is your tour. It's still going on. We're here at the L Club. And then the big thing is, what would you like to tell your fans to do as to wrap all this up again? I guess maybe this is a horrible version of just saying, hey, where can we find you?
No, I think I would like to. I want to say thank you. I'm doing this for them, and they're doing this for me. So I want to say thank you, and let's keep it going. Yeah. And to #mag, that's going to be all for this evening. Thank you very much for having me.